Sorry, I had to take care of some bullshit in the background there. Only I get 10 draw tickets. This is not a Twitch drop. There is nothing in it for you. Only me. Only gambling. Unfortunately, pretend gambling, but that's why we're here. That's why we can stream it on the YouTube. And I'm not getting no stake sponsorship. I'm not getting anything. Granted, I don't have my business email listed anywhere on the YouTube. So for all I know, I could be making 10 to 15 grand a month streaming to people at all times. If I wish list Brown Dust 2 and it hits 1,000K, I get 10 draw tickets. Is that like for everyone, or do I have to use a code for that? I guess is the next question. Or the question that ties into that best. And that's fitting for this whole goon fest we're getting into. So this is going to be the most like casual stream I've ever done, I guess, in a while. That isn't, it's just like a little comfy Friday, a little gambling, a little slop for everyone. Okay, that's fair. Good to know. I'll think about it. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it just to help you out. And no intentions of playing the game, but whatever. I'm juggling enough as is, as we're going to see tonight anyway. So we're just playing gacha games tonight. We're not doing anything too serious. I am both tired and I have to, I didn't have to. I chose to take a hit from the Benjamin Franklin, so I'm a little bit zooted right now. So nothing I'm going to say is going to be coherent, and we're going to like it. It's going to be fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves listening to me ramble on about nothing. Not that hasn't happened before in the stream, because, consumed copious amounts of alcohol while playing gacha games in some capacity. So it's sort of fitting for me to be inebriated, so I can kind of like lower my shame levels a little bit, considering that, my face is associated with the slop. So throw a little crappy German alcohol on top of that. I don't know what's going on anymore. I had something intriguing I was gonna say, but I don't remember what it is anymore. So fuck it. We're just gonna jump into it. You don't need to hear me talking. Who cares? Nobody fucking cares. I don't even care. Nothing coherent to talk about. So actually, I'm gonna talk because I'm gonna kind of just quickly run you through what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna show off Fazer Lane skins, because there's a new one. It's not a lot of new content, but it's part of their Black Friday sale, and they do race queens. Yes, I was right. Race queen skins around that time. So there's some new one of those. We'll look at that. We'll laugh. We'll say, "Wow, this shit is corny. Why do you play this?" And I'll just smile and shrug and nod my head, like I do whenever I'm confronted about my lifestyle. Then there was new Arc Knights content, new, I almost said Zenless Zone Zero, because it's 3 syllables. New Zero Chaos Nightmare content. So we're going to actually gamble on that. And then we're going to take it easy. We're going to call it a night. And I'm going to go sleep because I have to work tomorrow. Like a loser. And then Saturday, we'll play horror games. And then I'm going to do another Sunday stream. I'll probably start it a little bit earlier again. Let me just actually start something, I guess, and get it on the screen if I said we're getting into it fucking 5 minutes ago. But yeah, Sunday, we'll play Stellar Blade, because I still have to finish Stellar Blade. I think I finished maybe one game on stream that I've done multiple times, and that is Fear, actually. That's the only game I've actually played through. And then, yeah, well, you didn't miss anything on last night's stream, because last night's stream is tonight's stream, because I fell asleep. I passed out on the couch. I'm lazy and I don't know what's going on anymore. So you didn't miss anything, because you're experiencing it tonight, albeit in a possibly less intelligent and coherent way, which is really what we're going to do. Anyways, what am I doing? Okay, game on screen. Wow, it's Azure Lane. It's the game with the boats. One thing I've talked about this months ago, and there's been no. This is relevant to this, mind you, but I talked about it months ago, and there hasn't been really any update on it. But there are videos in the works. I've just been incredibly lazy. I thought I was going to be like rejuvenated after my vacation, and I was not rejuvenated after said vacation. But that's okay. Everything's fine. We're going to switch this up for shits and giggles because, you know, it's the race green theme, so we're going to stick with that. I just kind of like walked everywhere, and now I'm tired all the time because I'm a fat loser. But what was I saying? Yes. So I was like, you know, maybe I'll work on it, maybe I won't work on it. I got scripts. I've got stuff done. It's just like I'm trying to make it so that the audio isn't scuffed. And the first video is going to be on Azure Lane. It's going to be on this that you're, you know, you've seen more than once on this channel. Real life, I've talked about it to you in person more than once, or online. I've talked about it a lot because person I am, who is, and I have a thought that I'm going to not jump into immediately, but we're going to tie into this as well too. But you might notice, based on the screening here, but we are obviously playing it in an emulator because there's no PC client for Azure Lane, because that sucks, and we're having network issues again. So, hold on a sec here. We're dropping frames again. Let's see if it kicks back up before I turn into a slideshow. There we go. Okay. Speaking of slideshows, that's basically the quality. It's going to be a Windows Movie Maker quality thing. But my issue, I guess, is, and why I'm complaining about the emulator, is even for mobile phones, emulating things is, if it's not like a optimized for PC experience, when you emulate games, they're choppy, right? Like something like this, like on the computer I stream on. I can't talk anyway. It's the drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. I could barely get it to run, like the actual, like, core gameplay, which if you've seen, it's literally just fucking, is there audio? Am I retarded? Yes, there is. Okay. What we're doing here. We're clicking on somebody. You know, the game is just chibis. It's nothing. Chibis and, like, you know, like pew pew effects, right? It's nothing like at all interesting, right? It's just kind of like a 2D 2017 shmup game, right? Like we've talked about this. However, there is 3D content in the game, and as you can probably see, we'll go into it. But like the 3D content is, like, for the most part, worth talking about to some capacity. Whether, you know, if I'm trying to explain the game to you in like a very, like, not trying to sell you on it necessarily, but like in a review, like even if it's a funny review, you kind of want to go in and talk about like the horny 3D assets. Now, I've upped the cores required for the emulator, and I've also switched to this like Moo drive thing, which is better than BlueStacks, which was kind of like the gold standard for a while. But like, what's the word? So that's the less 3D intensive stuff. If you do the Island Planner, which is this little like 3D running around mode, which doesn't really have much of a purpose on it. You can see the little overlay on the screen there as well too for the emulator. But like, it's nothing special, but it's chopped. It's like super chopped. And it's hard, also like kind of janky to control. Now it does look better the last time I did it, but like I don't know how it's showing on the stream, but like this looks a lot better than I was able to get it. But like, I want to have it with like the characters on screen and yada yada yada. I'm just gonna jump into things so they don't talk to me and distract me with their Japanese voices. But like the 3D content, like I want to be able to talk about that and take video clips of it and stuff like that. And it's just been very janky. And that's sort of like one thing I would say that holds this game back is the fact that it doesn't have a dedicated PC client. And one of the skins I sort of swapped out there as well too on Shinano here, like this one actually was, even though it's not really anything crazy, it's just like a bunny girl skin. This was one of the ones that I think we talked about the last time we said this too, is that was one of the skins that got caught up in the Google ban. And it's nothing like you said, there was some of them that were a little bit more risque than other ones, but like that was just kind of included in this like broad sweep. So I guess they kind of backed off on it because it's in the game now and I have it. It came with one of the packs I got as far as fucking Black Friday sale goes. But like shit like that, it's you can work around that when you have a PC client, right? As opposed to you being kind of like beholden to the App Store rules for the most part, which is nice. And then the game just is more optimized to run on your computer too, right? Drinking out of this like it's a little medicine bottle. It's been keeping me sane. Anyways, new skins. We'll talk about that briefly. That's not new, but it's back. That's not a skin. That's also not new. However, so we got our, like I said, our race queen. I want to say queen, like queen. But I have to use my words properly. I have to enunciate because I got to record video footage. This one apparently has like a hidden mini game in it somewhere. I haven't looked for it yet. We're not going to look for it because I don't want to spend 25 minutes clicking around. These ones aren't the live 2D. They're just animated. This is like the gist of how crude it gets, so to speak. Lots of spraying. This one has a cork bottle. So these are fairly tame in comparison. I would tame. We're going by the standards of like what we've shown on stream before as well too, and the stuff that's been banned, which we've also shown on stream, which is fine. But yeah, that's really all there is to say about Azure Lane. I just had it open because I was doing the dailies. Because I'm a simple man who does simple things, and you know I don't like to overcomplicate things necessarily. But what we're gonna do is, like I said, we have 2 more games we're gonna talk about. It's gonna be a shorter stream. Tomorrow I'll be a little bit better equipped to go over and talk and play a game and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's sort of been the roadblock right now of actual like full form video content is the stuff I want to do. Like the one I'm like that's most complete. The one I want to do the most right now is obviously Azure Lane because that's sort of like not what got me into Gacha Slop either, but like that was the one that I feel like is like I'm best equipped to talk about out the gates. Is really where like I stand with that one. So and I think I thought like, it'll be funny. It's gonna be, you can see where the inspirations are, but it's getting the video, actually putting it together properly, which I can do, but I'm just fucking lazy, and then ultimately just fucking not have scuffed audio is really kind of what it comes down to. Like, I feel like as far as like making an entertaining YouTube video, streaming is one thing, obviously, but like making like an actual video itself, you can forgive, at least from my perspective, you can forgive like the chop. Like, if it's something that's sort of like janky and not put together visually, or like it's not a coherent thing or whatever like that, right? Like it's just kind of like an obvious first work, which is just what it's going to be, right? Like it's the quality's just not going to be there. However, if that's the case, and hold on, I'm trying to get this fucking load. What's going on with my my bullshit apps today? That way you don't have to watch me click around like an idiot. But if it's something like I feel like in my I've talked to other people who said the same thing, but in my opinion, if it's like really bad to listen to, you don't want to fucking listen to it. Like, you're gonna click away if the audio is scuffed. It's you're not gonna want to have, you're not gonna want to actually have anything to do with it. Like, let's be honest here, right? So like that's gonna be for me, I think, and it's kind of ironic considering that like audio's pretty dog shit on here too, right? Like the stream. But like I feel like it's gonna be one of those things that I'm gonna have to kind of fix a little bit, and then when we get into, if I'm able to remedy that for the recording process, then I can obviously reapply it to this, and maybe improve the stream quality a little bit. In an ideal world, I could do shorts. Yeah, I think like for me. You're not the first person to mention shorts either, because obviously that's like, we live in we live in retard world. Let's face it, right? Like, clown world's like vanished into the sun and got annihilated, and we all migrated to retard world, right? So it's like anything that's that sort of TikTok-esque, like short form slop, like obviously YouTube Shorts, TikTok. Reels, Twitter videos, etc. Right? Like that's the sort of shit that we just like consume in mass, right? That's the goy slop. That's what we love. And the like I want to do that. Like I have ideas that I think would kind of better apply for it, but I think what I want to do is I want to make the one video, like a long form video, and say that like I did. And that would be like, here's like the obvious start, and then maybe from there have like go into shorts, and then ideally longer videos or even shorter videos and stuff like that. Like that's sort of like how I want to do things. Because like I think that's like, this is not like I don't make a fucking penny off this, obviously. This is not like something, I'm too old to be like, oh, I'm gonna be a big streamer, right? You know what I mean? Like that's a 16-year-old thing to do, right? Like I'm old, dog, I'm unk, right? Like it's too late to start like a career. This is all just something I want to do for fun, and then hopefully people find it enjoyable. But like I want to make something that's like I said, that's not unwatchable dog shit, I guess, is kind of really what it kind of comes down to. So that's sort of like the goal of the channel right now, is to do that. So new Arknights event. The advantage of Arknights, we talked about this before, it's not the only game that does it, but we have prescience, we have psychic vision 6 months into the future to know what's coming out. So right now, as far as Arknights is concerned, we've till I guess February, we are in this era of every banner is like life or death. Like if you don't have this unit, you might as well just fucking kill yourself, bro, because it's like your team is fucked, right? We're in the meta shit era of this game, and that's sort of unfortunate because I would say, above all else, what I play with a game that kind of has a constant stream of like new characters and units and mechanics and blah blah blah, Arknights is probably the one that I would say that is not most immune to it, but like power creep is not like a thing necessarily. Like it's like you're not getting crippled by it. Like if you go on YouTube and you watch like, there's a multitude of content creators that make like fucking like playthroughs, like how to squad building and unit placement and stuff like that, how to beat the stage, because it's a tower defense. It's kind of puzzling. You got to deal with mechanics and shit like that, right? So it's just like, when you start off, you either grit your teeth and take it and grind through the game, or you're gonna watch like how to beat this stage with a bunch of 4-star characters, right? With a bunch of like low-level shitters. And you can still do it with most of the content in this game. Like, you don't really have to go out of your way. Like, I'm at the point now where it's like I have like 3 or 4 characters that are like the set it and forget it type, where I can just like put them on the map and I can just go take a piss or something like that and come back and the game's done. You know, the map's done. Which is fine, but like you have ones like Blaze, for example. Like this is a character that the game's had since launch, and this is still like not only like one of the best in its like subclass, so you can see down here, which is Centurion, but like it's she's one of the best guard operators in the game, and like for real like grindy and egregious content, like she just fucking chews through it, and it's there hasn't been anything. There's been other Centurion characters, there's been other 3-star Centurion characters, but none of them does what she does, right? Like they're very strict on kind of at least like differentiating the special abilities and stuff. So yeah, like you still have launch characters that are exceptional, and you got like Wizardel, who's newer, who's I guess about a year now since that came out. But like this is like, oh, you can clear the map now, kind of like that, right? And then now that we're in this like cycle of, like I said, of like every character comes out as like a game-changing meta for the most part. Like we got ones like Lemu in here, which are also, I'll talk about that in a sec. But finish the thought. We'll talk about the wheelchair thing in a sec. But she's also like they're like, oh, let's just put this sniper character that can just delete any enemy on the stage from anywhere, even if it's out of her range, right? Like that's not overpowered as fuck. Which is kind of busted. And we've talked about it on stream before, but like we're in the era now. If I were to describe, like, summarize 2025 for gacha games, it would be pudgy women. Like women, someone who is less eloquent as I would refer to as like a slam pig. You know what I mean? Like they're not fat, but they're like fat by like Chinese standards, kind of like that, right? Like they got a little girth on them. And then we'll see it again shortly. But like the next meta is girls in wheelchairs. For some reason, there's been like multiple games where they have wheelchair-bound women in some capacity. Now, canonically, Lemoon can stand, so she's not a paraplegic, but she can't stand for long periods of time. So, and it appears she is somewhat standing in this photo, but this is also like a, you know, highly dramatized, like, action pose, kind of thing like that, right? And they always have, for all the not sarcasm, we'll call them angel characters for now, because I can't be bothered to think of the actual race, because I'm an asshole. We're gonna look it up, because I gotta be factually accurate. Hold on, we'll go into the database. All the Sancta. So she's lazy. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. She's more optimized to fucking blow, you know, one-tap guys in, like, you know, when she's sitting down. Like, think about it. Like, when you're playing Battlefield 6, and some asshole blows your brains out, right? Like, he was sitting on his couch when he did that, right? So this is the same logic in action, for the most part. But anyways, yeah. Meta shit characters. I want to talk about this quickly because I'm reminded of it. So this skin here, this was supposed to come out, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, about this part. I believe this was supposed to be in the global skin pool like a couple months ago. However, if she stops moving for a sec here, so that little like moth wing texture here, the original artist had literally just copied like the texture from Monster Hunter. I don't know which one specifically, but like real Monster Hunter cards were able to figure it out like immediately. But she just copied the skin texture and put it on the inside. And either it's one of those things where it was like there's been no confirmation that it was like a malicious thing done. Like for all we know, it could have been like you know, she put it there as a placeholder, and then time constraints happen, and she submitted that and fucked everything up for herself because she got shit canned for it. But that was a big deal, and if I'm not mistaken, too, for the current event that's going to be coming in a few months, which we'll talk about it then too when I'm reminded of it, but it happened again. Someone else stole fucking something off of I think they traced a pose or something like that. It was like, again, like, people immediately noticed it, so that's funny. So Trigodia is another meta shit overpowered character. So we're gonna dump some rolls, see what happens. Didn't get him, but we'll see if there's anything new. Probably not. We're just gonna skip. Nothing new. We got a 5-star out of it though, but we already have Rock, so it's a dupe. I have like 180 rolls saved up. We're not gonna dump them all on this banner. We're gonna just go until we get like another bare minimum 5-star. See what happens. I gotta save for better characters. There we go. We got a 6-star. So we're in the meta shit era, like I said. We're just gonna skip through. I gotta be surprised. We're not gonna skip all the way. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. So this is a new feature too. Is that you can actually skip the it used to be you had to sit through the whole fucking thing. But like as long as the text stops going, you're good. 3-star. Alright, we got him. We're good. So, we're not gonna play it because I'm too much reading. But the theme of this event is a Hollywood murder mystery. So, if you're not super familiar with like Arknights, takes place on another planet. It's got this like very esoteric, deep sci-fi plotline is sort of like the overarching thing, but a lot of these side stories, which do contribute to the main plot, everything sort of has a parallel with like the real world. So like Rankwood is Hollywood in the country of Columbia, but it's spelt like District of Columbia, so it's United States, kind of like that, right? And then there's like an equivalent to Toronto in this game as well too, which is a fucking, you know, a goddamn shame, I gotta say. But it has a lot of aspects like that, and obviously there's animal people. Everyone's an animal of some capacity. And then there are like more supernatural things like angels and demons and stuff like that, and that plays into them being like alien races and shit. It's cool. That's gonna be one of those things that I would talk about in a video, right? Because we could have a little lore spurg session. What was I gonna say too? So the for that event, you get a welfare operator for each of these events, so you get a free one. Is this character here, Miss Christine, which is a cat, obviously, like an actual cat, but she's got 2 tails. And there's characters in the universe that are referred to as so there's like a varying degree of like pseudo supernatural characters and beings in this like what is otherwise like a very like esoteric sci-fi story, and so she's what they call a beast lord, which is one of those things, and they're all like, instead of them being like a kimono mini or even like a furry type character, they're just like anthropomorphic animals that have like supernatural powers. What they did for this one is for some reason they added in like the Korean voiceover and the Chinese and the English one. But the Japanese one's the only one that works. And obviously they're all going to be meows. Which we can clean. Hold on. Where's my mouse? There it is. Yeah. Yeah. See, cat. It's a cat, right? But obviously she's talking here because they're yapping. But, and then the voice actor for it is, they have cats in the office. And there's like a video they posted on YouTube of them walking around, like harassing the cats with a fucking, you know, boom mic, trying to get fucking audio and stuff like that. So It's a silly event. It's, like I said, a Hollywood murder mystery theme to go along with it. If I'm not mistaken, too, actually. Hold on. Where's our Phantom? So, for him, because he's an alt as well, too. So, he's an existing character. But if I'm not mistaken, they have French voice dub for that, too, which is cool. So, I'm going to change it to that. That's like we talked about this last time as well, too. And every time I talk about Arknights. But what I appreciate about this game especially is that there's a lot of voiceovers. There's a lot of regional voiceovers because there's like an in-game Germany, an in-game Russia, in-game Poland, yada yada yada, and they've made an effort, at least in most cases, to try to have characters that have a correct regional accent, or in the case of that, they have, you know, they have a French voiceover or a Russian voiceover and stuff like that. And so, not yapping about that. We'll do the next gambling session then. So we're gonna do fucking what was I saying here now? We're gonna do, almost said Zenless Zone Zero again. There's too many games that have like 3 words, and then obviously there's 2 fairly sizable ones now that have the word zero in it. And I said it wrong the first time too, because it's Chaos Zero Nightmare. Zenless Zone Zero, Chaos Zero Nightmare. So it's like an inversion of that, because it's like Zenless, 2 syllables, Zone Zero, and then Chaos Zero Nightmare. So the 2 syllables are the front for one, 2 syllables are in the back for the other one. I don't know why that matters. Don't take anything I say with a fucking, like it's, I don't know. Don't take anything that they say like it's a deep thought. Because it's not. But yeah, we're going to drink more. Clearly, I just want to play ZZZ, Zenless Zone Zero, to get the Octopus Girl. I kind of do. I don't remember. Did I show off? Yes, I did. I showed off the Halloween skins for the pirate ships, right? And what's cool for Azur Lane, and what's cool about those is most of them are fucking horrible squid monsters that you can marry, because it's, why not? So I do like a good octopoidal woman, you know what I mean? Because they're monster girls, right? And everybody knows, right? Like, for real women, the monster's on the inside, right? But for monster girls, it's on the outside. And we love them for it. Okay, so let us jump back into our wonderful space game. Oh, that's the wrong button. It'll let me jump in. I was trying to update a second ago as well, too, because I haven't played it on PC for a little bit. So, we talked about it a little bit last time. I'm just going to reiterate it because it's something I feel like yapping about because it's stuck on the top of my head. But there was a degree of controversy with this game in terms of like how the plot was presented and stuff like that. That made a large portion of the she's trapped in a time loop and is a fanfic writer. Those are 2 very different characters bundled in one, so I'll have to consider that. We'll see. Like, every time I think about getting back into Zenless Zone Zero, I'm always just like, and then I don't do it. I back out, and you know, it was a fun game. Don't get me wrong, but it was, I don't know, just something about like I had my Hoyoverse experience, and that was enough for me. But anyway, so what was I saying? So I talked about it last time. There was a controversy with the plot that made the Korean audience very upset about this. And this is the same team that did another game that I've now realized, since I never played it before, that is very similar to this in a lot of ways as well, too. So, of course, you wouldn't have made that... you would have made that connection immediately if you're familiar, but they make another game called Epic 7. So this was, my understanding of the story was they hired an actual like sci-fi writer to do the plot of this, and it was going to be, and this is just happenstance. You know, I don't they didn't confirm a lot of the truth behind what the lore is going to be, but right now, like I said, if I can compare the plot, it's very similar to like it borrows a little bit about chaos cultists and empires and 40k vibes, but it's sort of like this like apocalyptic sci-fi story, and they wanted to do that, but it would have been very similar to what the fuck I can't remember the name of the American movie with Tom Cruise, but it's based on a manga called All You Need Is Kill. The fuck is it again? How do I remember the fucking manga adaptation's name? And the animated version that's dog shit, by the way. Edge of Tomorrow. Great movie, by the way. Edge of Tomorrow, phenomenal film. But it was supposed to be sort of like a time, speaking of time loops, right? That was what that movie was about. It was supposed to be like this. So instead you got this sort of like sci-fi epic where you play therapists because everyone, especially the women, are all fucking mentally ill, and you got to manage their mental illness when you're in battle with them and stuff like that, because your sanity meter can collapse and they can have a mental breakdown, a la Darkest Dungeons and stuff like that, right? Like, I do like that mechanic. I hate it because it sucks, but I do like it. It's adds a fun level of tension and more bullshit to manage. Because I feel like this is a bit deeper than your standard gacha gameplay experience. It requires a little bit more of your time, even compared to something like Arknights. But yeah, so instead of it being like dark, I guess Lovecraftian sci-fi, it was going to be that, but with this like time looping mechanic where like you would die in the plot and then you'd be able to restart over and try to make that change, and on and on and on, right? Which I think would have been cool. I would have liked the Edge of Tomorrow, All You Need Is Kill treatment personally. So, what ended up happening is they had a sci-fi writer writing that, and then gradually under him they got the team from Epic 7 to come over and push him out for the most part. Is he basically got about like bullied out of the job by people who had previously worked together, and then they didn't go with like his story route and stuff like that. So that was one thing. And then what people didn't like is that like the women in this game don't want to have sex with you enough. So they wanted the plot to be a bit more like harem-esque, I guess. That every woman has to love you for the most part, right? Which is like, I play games that have that. That's what El Nike is, and that's what fucking Azur Lane is, right? It's like it's harem slop, right? For the most part, you marry boats in the game, right? That's what it's for. It's goonery, but like this is not that. Like this is a game that has like male characters in it, right? It's just a game that's like the focus. It isn't on like romance necessarily, right? Like Arknights isn't either. You can obviously like headcanon to your heart's content. I don't give a fuck about that, but I think like the problem lies in when you push too hard to have that changed in game and stuff like that, right? And like one thing I'll credit to Hoyoverse is that like guys like this, or guys like the guys who did Blue Archive and shit like that, or other games. I'm trying to think off the top of my head a couple more, especially in Korea, but in China it happens too, where they're like they're audience paralyzed, where it's like if there's any pushback, and sometimes that pushback is like them storming into the fucking office, right, and having to sit down. But if there's any pushback, they're like like I can't keep going. I gotta listen to the audience and stuff like that. And like one thing I'll like appreciate about Hoyoverse is that like whenever there's like when they had that whole fucking situation with the boycott they were just like, okay, cool guys, like we're just gonna go build a fucking fission generator. Like I don't give a fuck what you have to say. And they were like, that, and their official response is literally like, good job guys, we hear you loud and clear, right? Like have fun with your protest, I guess, right? Like it was very like nonchalant, indifferent, and then not that it was gonna do anything anyway, but the boycott did nothing. And Hoyoverse did nothing to counteract that because it's like trivial, right? It's not like the game's broken. It's just that you're like, oh no, they talked to another man. I'm going to kill myself, and that's like a parasocial thing. So that ties into another topic we're gonna talk about in pertaining to the gacha games and the like. And it's sort of like not a revelation of sort. It is sort of. Hold on, I'm just gonna skip through here. So that's the new 4-star, which is a woman with a guitar. And nothing says post-apocalyptic sci-fi horror than woman with guitar. Also, it's another woman in a wheelchair. I don't know if it'll show her full, it's a well. Good agent. See, it's the meta. This game also has at least 2 characters. We're gonna roll again in a sec, but we're gonna talk about that before I talk about parasocial nonsense and pertaining to gacha games. But we do have large-chested, chubby woman, right? Specifically of the poorly dressed variety. And then we also have somewhere, I gotta see which one has it. There's a partner character, like wheelchair woman. Here we go. We'll go to Mega. You go to partner. Then we have a large-chested, chubby woman, but this time she's a glutton. She's a gluttonous creature, which is also a popular trend now. So it hits all the boxes, right? It's a very 2025 game, is what I'm trying to say. But it's fun. Anyways, let's keep gambling. So, what was I talking about? So, for the last couple of weeks, I did it on stream as well, too, a little bit. Now we got another gluttonous creature. Just gonna skip through the animation because it's long. Another guitar woman. We have a lot of roles to go through, so we're fine. Another array, that's fine. So we can do 2 more before we hit that. We hit the pity, so that's fine. Which we're gonna have to hit. We'll see if we'll get our actual the banner characters. I don't know if it's the pity for the banner, or if we just get any 5-star, which is fine. Alright, we got the banner character. So there we go. We're 2 for 2 in games. 100%. I'm a luck chad. I bet on a winning horse in a horse race. I'm just a guy, you know? Gambling is my calling. So if you work for a casino company doing online gambling, I'm your guy. Give me money. I'll go on Kick and promote it, okay? Yo-Star, I don't know if I mentioned this the other day too. I told people about it, but like another game that I'm still kind of dabbling with, and you'll see it again next week because there's a new banner next week. Is Stella Sora, which is a Yo-Star game, and they're paying out the ass for that, right? Like there's a lot of like paid cosplayers, paid content creators. They're paying artists. They're paying speaking of VTubers, and this is gonna loop back into what I was talking about parasocial bullshit. But they're paying a lot of VTubers. Like Pippa has done like multiple streams on it. So is all of FaZe Connect, and that's fine. It's a new game. You're marketing your product, right? You're well within your right to pay money to do that. It's a fun game. I enjoy it. I'm still playing it. Probably play it in the morning when I'm at work because there's nothing better to do because it's fucking. Hopefully it's not busy, but But yeah, right. Like it's nothing crazy. You're allowed to do that. But I'm just saying is that like they went hard with the marketing, and you should be paying me. I did it for free. I'll be doing it for free. Hit me up, bro. I'll take your money. I'll say nice things about your game. I was gonna do that anyway, so I might as well get paid for that privilege. But speaking of VTubers, who shit a lot on them this stream, and I'll continue to shit on them as we can go on in the future. That's not opposed to that. I don't hate VTuber. It's just like right now, streaming in general is kind of a shit show, right? Like you don't come watch me because you're parasocially attached to me, because it's like if you're here, you know who I am probably in some contexts. So you're just here fucking I gotta add the business email. You're right. You're right. They could have saw my channel and they could have went, how do I contact this fine lad? Because we can't do it on Instagram. But anyways, this shit's kind of parasocial, right? Like like the streaming concept, and you see that happen, right? Like with like people get like dump life savings into streamers and stuff like that, or they like lose content. Like I like watching streamers, but I'm not like, I'm not going out of my way to defend these people's lives and stuff like that, or I'm not like obsessed with them in any capacity. It's not really something that I get too deep into, right? I don't watch a lot of them. I watch some from time to time. Sometimes these guys I just like watching because they have interesting things about games, right? And stuff like that. But that like there is something like deeply parasocial about it, and it's like we're kind of in this point now. We're in like the post 2020 world where I feel like a lot of the streamer culture obviously existed before that, but like blew up in the last 5 years to be this like behemoth that's finally like cracking under its own weight. But even in that context, it's like, or in addition to that, right? Like we have like AI now. We got like Grok and Chat GPT, and like people are fucking dating Grok. You know what I mean? Which is fucking crazy to joke about it until you know people that actually have done that, or have the possibility of doing that, right? And like I don't think I'd be that kind of person, but I'm like uncomfortable with the thought of me getting overtly attached to AI. And then I realized, and part of the reason why I say like that part of the reason that is a concern for me is like I play a fucking gacha game. And not only that, but I play like do some living breaking over here. But I play like self-insert harem slop where you can marry them, right? Like as their lane, because that's exactly what it is. It's self-insert slop, right? You get wedding rings that you can put on boats, and then their lines change and they talk about how much they love you and stuff like that, right? And like that's not the selling point of the game for me, but that has like an appeal. I won't argue against that. As a lonely old man, that's obviously something that does have a degree of appeal to me, right? And that's one of those things where I'm like, if I have a wedding ring, because you get them for free all the time, and I put it on a boat and I see their oath line and I feel something, which I have, because I made this joke to people previously as well too, and maybe on here, but I'm like, I've been in long-term relationships, and the cartoon fucking live 2D model of a World War II battleship has said nicer things to me than real women have, that I was supposed to be in love with and stuff like that. And that maybe a lot of people can relate to that, right? Or maybe these you've never had a girlfriend or significant other, which is not uncommon, which is like too many guys in this space are like that. Because it's like, it's unreasonable, right? Like dating culture's fucked now. And that's partially technology's fault as well too, kind of like that, right? It's like, we can go on and on and on and on we want about it. But like, I guess really what I'm trying to get at is that it's like, you're not safe from it. It's like one of those things, right? Like, you don't have to watch streamers. You don't have to watch, fucking VTubers. You don't have to fucking use Grok on your phone. You don't have to play this shit. you're still gonna be like there's, it's like trying to navigate your way through like a mousetrap and rake maze while wearing a blindfold, kind of like that, right? Like it's like you might miss a couple things because maybe that's not your shtick, but it's like there's some degree of like hyper reality. There's this like delusion and an illusion and kind of reconfiguring of like your reality that's tied to the over socialization of being online, which is fucking, you know, it's depressing to think about in a lot of ways. It is what it is. 3 dupes for this bitch. Jeez. Okay. Didn't have to spend a dime, but yeah, that's another thing too, right? Like I'm not one of those guys that I'm gonna put a partner in bitch too. Like I'm not one of those guys that gets like too shit, I gotta change it around too. I'm not one of those guys, I keep saying this sometimes, I'm gonna get distracted. I'm not one of those guys that like I'm not paranoid. Like I feel like you have, when it comes to technology and AI and stuff like that, right? Like if you're a right wing, you have a very you have 2 views normally. You have sort of like what I have, which is sort of like a cynical distrust, or you kind of buy into like a very like conspiratorial aspect of it, right? Which I can kind of understand when you have like something like Palantir existing, and Peter Thiel, you know, will go on and spout like some bizarre schizo noise, right? Which he does do from time to time because he's probably a schizophrenic lunatic, right? Who wants to build like a computer god and be immortal, right? Like those are the things that he talks about. Which, you know, it's crazy. That's insane. But, you know, it's like one of those things where he's also like an eccentric dude and could be exaggerating and stuff like that. But it's like people are like terrified of this idea of like Palantir stealing your shit and doing that. And like part of being of that cynical thought frame is, you know, that it's already too late. It's not hard to find evidence that it's already too late, right? Like you're on a website in an app right now that is like almost purely, and has been for a long time, right? Because Google has had access to AI technology for forever. But you're on an app right now where you're being curated information and videos and advertisements purely on like a algorithmic artificial basis. And like it's like these ad machines know you better than you know yourself. That's why they can cater these ads to you, right? Because at the end of the day, human beings are very predictable. Individuals can be very predictable, right? Like there's people that for decades and decades and decades that have been experts at this sort of shit, right? Which is crazy to think about. But it's and it's just like, this is no different either, right? Like, I'm sure that these guys making stuff like Azur Lane and stuff like that, you know, they wanted to make a fun game. I want to make a game, you know, I want to make, you know, Hentai collection, but good, you know what I mean, in Chinese, and less being sad about Japan, which is what that game sort of is. We're not knocking it, but I'm just saying that's sort of what it is. And I like shmups, so we're going to make it a shmup, and we're going to make it a gacha game, because I can make $1 quadrillion off gacha games and stuff like that, right? Like, I don't think, like, Nikkei is the same way, too, right? Like, as much as I like to call Buddy there, from Shift Up, Korean Gabe Newell, which he sort of is, it's one of those things where it's just like, he's making a product that, you know, he wanted to make sure, but it's being tweaked in order for it to be successful, to hit that niche, right? Like, and that's why you have shit like this, kind of in that, right? Like, fucking La Gluttonous Creature with fucking gigantic honkers and you know, likes eating hamburger and has fucking, you know, an exposed belly. Because I talk to guys on Instagram There are guys that are really into that. You know what I mean? No, not to judge. There's young guys that are really into that and stuff like that, right? So it's just like you're trying to take as much as you can, and make it so that like you take their money, right? Because you're a business at the end of the day, right? And that's what you got to think about, right? You have fucking Saudi Arabian shareholders to cater to, and I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I'm just saying is that it's like I don't think. I guess really what I'm trying to say is that I don't buy into this idea that technology is the Antichrist. I don't think Palantir is actually trying to make a computer god, and partially because that's sort of my my cynical view on kind of like where we can go as a species as far as technology is concerned. I'm just gonna play while I talk. Because hold on, we're just gonna get all the upgrade material for our new character here while I yap for a little bit. I don't. Yeah, what was I saying? So Palantir. I don't think any of that is like. I don't think there's like some true, you know, satanic, demonic cabal that's behind this that are backing Peter Thiel because they're evil. So she's Vanguard or Striker. Okay, like it's a spy op and a grift. That is the best way to put it. It's at the end of the day. It's to further this idea of making you a predictable consumer, right? And I'll agree with the idea that maybe there is something malicious about that from some, not in all cases, but like the idea as a whole is to make you predictable. And that's sort of like one of those things where it's just like, really the way to avoid that, you got to do it. You can only defend against the ads at the end of the day, right? Because like I said, every cookie you have is tracked, is that, right? Like right now, I don't know if I have it on this computer, but like Microsoft Copilot, I read an article today, is, and I don't know how true it is because it didn't seem very, like super in depth, but like Microsoft Copilot is like taking screenshots of you playing games without, your knowledge, because you consented to it when you bought the software, right? And that's just how it is. You have to give up your info and your gameplay for free because you paid for the service. And part of the advantage of paying for the service is now you have to give up all your info to Microsoft for free because fuck you. Give me your data, right? Your data is worth more than your dollar ever could be at this stage. And there are ways around that, but it's like one of those things where it's just like we as a society. Hold on, I'm just gonna take my face off screen while I. Oh, it's no auto. We're playing just so you can see the whole screen. Because fuck it, why not? You can hear me yap. I don't give a fuck. Add the shield. But anyways, what was I saying? We were talking about your data. Your data is worth more than anything. And at the end of the day, like the only way to stop contributing to your data getting mined from everything, and to really at the end of the day avoid being exposed to constant marketing and sales tactics and slop, is you just gotta fucking log off, right? And I know it's hard to do. Because, like, more so than ever, right? Like, I'm shocked at how much time I spend doom scrolling at all times on my phone. But it's like, it's hard to avoid, right? Like, it's like we're so reliant on this tech, and we're like we're glued at the hip at all times to our phone and to like the people that we talk to and these parasocial relationships, right? Like, I talk to real friends on fucking Instagram all the time, right? I talk to people that I know IRL. I talk to coworkers on Instagram. I talk to strangers on Instagram, right? It's just like, you don't have a choice. You're kind of stuck with it. But it's how it is, right? And the only way to do it is just log off, bro. You know what I mean? See what Tyler the Creator said so many years ago, right? How are you gonna get cyberbullied? Just log off the fucking internet. How are you gonna get fucking... How are you gonna get data mined? Well, you know, maybe there will be a point where I don't have any fucking attack. We're just gonna skip this hand. We have time. We're not gonna die. Yeah. How are you gonna get data mined? Just log off, bro. And until they have, like, you know, we get a China situation where, you know, they have cameras in the streets that can recognize their face and stuff like that. Which I think in Canada we're getting very close to that, because we are now at the big hamburger. We're now at the stage of, like, boost that shield up. We're now at the stage where we, as a society in Canada, I think, is that, like, we're at the trading freedom for security stage, right? Which, like, I'm not against necessarily, because it's like, you know, I'll be honest with you, I admire China a little bit, right? I admire places like Singapore, which are very strict, because I'm a kind of, you know, I respect the, you know, the ethics of sorts of a authoritarian state. Now, you know, obviously I don't agree with everything they do, because I'm allowed to, because I'm a foreigner and I'm allowed to criticize these things. No, if I ever go there, you know, it'd be one of those things where it's like, maybe it'll matter. Because at that point I'll fucking, you know, they might pull up the stream and be like, nope, you're not allowed to criticize. But it's like, you know, it's not me. But I do have some degree of admiration for, like, an authoritarian kind of authoritarian state, and that's just because it's like, it obviously works to some capacity, right? Like, we're talking about, like, post-Deng China, right? Where it's sort of that, like, fusion. I'm starting to talk like Hassan here, for fuck's sakes. But you can kind of get the, yeah, exactly. Listen, I would love that. I would be all above that. If, you know, if the Chinese bots show me some love. Because I do respect it in some capacity, so that's all it is, right? But that's just because I'm a bad person. You know, I'd cry, actually. I'd be like, oh, my China. We love the CCP. Gotta boost that administrative index in this. So I think I showed this last time, too, but this is that little, like, side game mode where you have this little timer at the top here, and this is like a disaster that's coming. Dark matter vortex. And you have, like, what you gotta do is you gotta retain certain indexes in order to do it. Nothing deep, obviously. You know, it's just like, oh, hit this one. And then we've already hit the goals for all of these. And you can unlock, like it happened here, like certain missions and shit like that, which is pretty cool. And it also affects your, you get, like, the affinity bonuses and stuff like that. So it's, like, worth doing as far as, like, what it adds to the gameplay, but it doesn't really add, it's not really, like, a rich gaming experience on your own. It's just, like, something that's, like, really straightforward to do with your daily slop. And then here's that very aesthetically pleasing coffee animation, which is quite cool. I didn't find it until, I don't know if I did last time, but they have, like, a diner you can go to. You can order stuff, and this affects the roguelike dives. So you can, like, add an attack one. We need some sushi. Very Kino, but I digress. That's all it is. So. Yes, that's where I was going on here. I didn't expect to go on a long rant about fucking Palantir and anything like that, because, let's face it, at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm talking about. None of that was a coherent thought. Let's be fucking real here. So, I'm going to call it there for now, because I feel like, you know, we got an hour out of it. We squeezed, we played some games. Next week, like I mentioned, we'll talk a little bit. We're going to go queso mode for this here. Hold on. We're just going to put our hood up. Speaking of ripping off streamers. Ooh, queso. So I'm fat and I got a little shitty beard right now. I got to shave off tomorrow. And I'm wearing a hood. I don't look like him at all, let me say. But I respect him. Man, what was I saying? We were talking about tomorrow, next week. I think we'll see. I'm gonna try 2:00 for Sunday streams. We'll see if they're lets you watch an hour of football, and we can have a little midday comfy day thing for an hour or two. Nothing crazy again like this too. I want to try. We'll see how lazy I am in the following subsequent Thursdays. Because if I'm not lazy, then that means we can have more Gacha streams. I knew what I was going to say. It's the words are still not coming out properly, but I digress. Which is fine. That's no big deal. This is a short, nonsensical stream anyway. Could you name every fast food chicken sandwich like queso? I don't know. We'll have to see. I could try. I can name. No, I can't. I really couldn't. I guess I'm truly not that much of a gluttonous creature at the end of the day. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not queso at all. Maybe I'm just a fucking fraud. But who knows? But yeah, tomorrow, horror games. Speaking of AI, one of those games tomorrow. It's not an AI horror game, but it is a game called Veil Transfer. Very short game. It's another free horror game. And then we're going to play another free horror game after that. Oh boy. Short content that hopefully, I don't have to struggle how to figure out jumping out a window like we did Clap Clap. And I'm not going to paint myself orange because the headset, for fuck's sake, still has orange base paint on it because I fucking oranged everything. And then there's orange all over this fucking table. Yeah, but we're going to do Horror Slop. Horror Slop probably the week after as well, too, because we'll finish off the Faith games. Because I want to finish those, because we got to finish it. But we're going to play the Sloppa tomorrow. And then Sunday, like I said, Stellar Blade, because I want to finish it again. You know what I mean? And I enjoy playing Stellar Blade, and Stellar Blade is one of those games where, I feel like we can rip through, because, like I said, this is a very, short, it's not a, I can't talk right now. What am I saying? We're not going that in depth with it at the end of the day, right? We're not doing a find all the items. Like I said, I will, and we'll go over it a little bit too. I got to do some of the side quests so I can get some of the duplicate outfits and stuff like that, just so I can say I got the duplicate outfits. That's what it comes down to. So we'll do that Sunday too. We'll have a comfy one of those, and then I'm gonna go pass out on my couch and watch football, and then wonder why I have to go to work on a Monday after that. But we'll see how that goes. And then we'll do the same thing next week. Bar any tech issues and me falling asleep on the couch again. Like I said, we'll have a Gacha Thursday, more gambling. Friday will be something else, and then we'll save the Horror Slop for Saturday. We'll do some Faith next weekend too. But Horror Slop tomorrow night, same time, 8:30. We'll ramble some more. We'll talk about Palantir. But until then, very light duty stream. We'll rip a little bit longer tomorrow night. So with that being said, I noticed I still have the bats up too. We're going to leave those up because I'm too lazy to take them down. With that being said, have a good night. And then we will see you tomorrow. So take care.